Hey there everyone, this is Mystic Fish. Welcome to episode 3 of our Factorio Space Age series where we're building self-building ships. Last episode we got ourselves to the point of actually using the assembler to make some of the missing materials that we need for sort of automating self-sufficient production here. And let's see, one of the commenters on that last video, DNA Beast, pointed out that we could actually we built a speaker and a light here, and we could have actually done those as well as, by the way, having enough space platform to build those. And DNA Beast pointed out that we could have built these as ghosts, which means we could have had them show up and start telling us stuff. So that seems like a good issue, or a good idea. So let's go ahead and put these in. I believe that means that we will only need 25 of these. And then I think that's the only update we need here. Do we have the victory condition here? That's 25 and 26, so we are getting the green. And this wants to be 25 here as well. Good. Good, so then we can get the green arrow here, and we can have this be use colors, enable disable green greater than 0. Okay, that gives us a green light. Good. And then we can get the speaker here as well, from here like this. There we go, alt mode. Okay, and then this we want to be, if we see in that green thing, whoa, we don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, but we want to global playback, allow polyphony, we're gonna show an alert. We're gonna say, we'll give it a check mark. We're gonna say phase 1 complete. Okay, cool. Good. So that means we can update our blueprint here to be this guy. And then just to test it out, we should be able to then apply that here. Which, right, we have to provide the missing speaker, and we're done. Okay, good. Excellent, so that works out great. So good, so then it's really only phase 0 that we'll have to check on to see if it's done, which is not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, so let's see. What do we want to do here? I think what we want to do next is, phase 0 did smelting, phase 1 did some basic assembly, and now we want to be able to smelt and do assembly at the same time. So let's start doing this design here. And I'm going to take this out just so that we can see what stuff we have in here. Now, the nice thing about, so let's see. Part of this is figuring out where do I want to put things such that when I put them down, actually, let's undo that. When I put them down, I want to be able to, if I want to remove stuff, I need to put other stuff on top of it. And I think 1, 2. Yeah, so I think I want to force paste this right here. Which means then I can, we're going to have in and out for the smelting. We are then going to move this one out slightly. So that's good. That disconnects it. We are also going to do in and out. And we'll have to come back because I think we need to get this. We need to remove this one, but we're going to put some combinators in here in a minute. Let's see, what else do we want to do here? I think we want to blow this stuff away. We need our decider combinator. And then we need our constant combinator. Okay, good. So by rearranging all of that stuff, we're in good shape. Okay, what else do we need here? I think that's it. Okay, so now we also built some additional combinators here. And so those will be useful. So we're gonna come back in here and we are going to re-update this. Right, so here we've got red wire from the constant combinator with the various signals on it, and then loop back on the red. And then we've got the green input from what we have in the hub. And then the output will be sort of the things that we need. Whoa. Okay, good. Just refresh our memory there. Okay, so we're gonna, whoops, I already did that. Okay, so we are going to, we're gonna do, let's see, a handful of things here. So I think for right now, we are going to just do metallic asteroids. We are going to need then the recipes. We need the 2 recipes for metallic crushing, which are going to be these guys. So these are going to be similar to what we saw before. And let's see. Then that will take care of our ore. So then from there, the next things we need to track are iron plates, copper plates, steel plates. Let's see, we need gears potentially. We need copper wire. We need green circuits. And we are going to need yellow inserters. We're going to need red inserters. Right? Yes, we'll need red inserters. Okay. So I promised this was going to be easier for us to manage than what we did before. So we'll see if we think that that's true or not. Okay. We are going to need various combinators. This will be 23. This will be 25. This will be 27. I don't think we need more lights and speakers at the moment. What else do we want to build? Potentially solar panels, I think, are the next things we need to build. This will be 29. And then we need space platform, 31. And then why don't we just do, we'll do our green signal as 101. I'm just way up there so that we don't have to like move it around too much. Although I guess just for, I'm gonna do it here. Okay, great. All right, so now, what do we want to do here? So, we want, so the first thing is when we're going to still set filters here. So when do we want metallic asteroids? So that's only if we're short on ore of some sort. So, so that will be if the red is greater than or equal to 1, and the red is less than or equal to 2. This will be each. This will be 1. And we have less than, let's call it 20 on green, which, we need to check that. That needs to go in here. Okay, so less than 20. Is that what we want? No, we actually want to do this the way we were doing it before. So, so if it's equal to 1 and it's less than 20, we should start. Or if it is equal to 1 and we don't have enough copper ore, we are going to say, nope, that's not right. If we're at 2, and we've started mining iron ore, and this is less than, let's call it 90, or we've started doing getting the metallic asteroids, and we're also less than 90 here. Okay, good. So that's when we should continue. We should start it for less than 20. We should continue until we are at least 90. Okay, and that tells us when to put the metallic ones in. Okay, very good. Then, now we want the metallic, the basic crushing. So this is going to be, if it's greater than or equal to 3, and, whoops, less than or equal to 4, and we have the iron ore that we have more copper ore than iron ore, then we want basic. And then otherwise, so I think this is pretty similar to what we had before. So this will be 5 or 6. So we're always sending a recipe to the crusher. And now this is the opposite. So this will be only if we have more iron than copper. Okay. Good. Okay, now, for the rest of these, the nice thing is now, what this combinator, and we're going to adjust these, I think, later. I'm not ready to mess with the logic for the crushers yet, but that's okay. We're going to get to that later. I think we don't need to do it till we start flying back and forth between planets, which is when we might want to start doing reprocessing, just to sort of balance out our content of stuff. So we'll do that one later. But otherwise, the nice thing about this, and what makes it a lot easier to manage, is going to be that we don't have to worry about priority order anymore with what we're going to be setting up today. So what we're going to say is, for example, let's look at iron plates. So really just for iron plates, we really just need to know when we want to start and when we want to stop. If we have less than, let's call it 20. Wow, actually, it's not, I probably want these to be 45, so it's more like one stack, something like that. Okay, sure. But for copper plates, iron plates, then stop when we get to like, I don't know, 88. And like, I'm picking that because we have 12 furnaces. And so it's possible that we sort of do one more round of smelting, and then be nice to not sort of like get more than one stack of sort of any of our intermediates here. But the nice thing is that's it. We can just say, you know what, what's the low water mark? What's the high water mark? I think in most cases we're going to be just playing around largely with sort of one stack of stuff. And so the nice thing is I don't think we'll be needing to modify much of what we're setting up here for a while, which is cool. Because this will be much easier to manage for us. And so we're going to do just the same thing for copper plates, and this is going to be 88. Or we're going to do steel. So, and again, we don't have to worry about priority order or anything else. It's really just each ingredient, like how much do I want to have of it on hand. And then we're going to manage all of the priorities and stuff separately. So this is going to be steel. We're going to be looking if we have less than 20 steel. And we're going to continue smelting steel. Or saying we need steel anyway is probably a better way of saying it, right? Because that's what this combinator does, is it's really just saying, what are the things that we need to produce? And those are going to come out here on the green wire. So once we hit the low water mark, we're going to start making it until we hit the high water mark. And that's basically it. And so we just need to do this for all of our intermediates here. So what are we on? We're on gears next. I think this is similar. So, and so the nice thing about this is then as we have more materials we want to do, it'll be pretty easy to add them here. And they don't really, the big thing is that they don't, like each of the signals here don't really interact with each other, right? It's like the steel one doesn't have to worry about iron plates or anything like that, for example. So that makes this just much easier to deal with. I mean, it still is a lot to sort of set up here, but you know, we're crunching through it, so it's okay. It's gonna be just fine here. We're gonna get some copper cables here. Now, copper cables, we need a fair number of these for the space platform. So I'm gonna just say, we're gonna say low water mark is gonna be pretty high, I guess. We're going to say let's just really get going because we need to make sure we can load enough copper cables in to the assembler in order to make stuff. So we may have to revisit some of these numbers here later. What does this become? 16? Is that right? 16. I was right. Okay. And then these can go much further, right? Because these stack to 200, so we can go to, I don't know, 180, something like that. Doesn't have to be exact. Just sort of like general idea here. Okay, so then we're going to do green circuits. These are going to be similar, although I think we can just do a lower low water mark, I guess. So, but I think we want this to go similarly until like we're at 180 or something. I'm going to try to keep things largely with one stack of it, where until we get cargo bays that we can build here, we're going to be a little bit limited on storage slots in the hub. So we have to be just a little careful here. you know, which is why we've got the sort of trash, you know, chuck extra stuff over the outside here. Let's see. Okay, so now we're on inserters. Now these, for our purposes, are essentially intermediates, right? Because we're going to use them to make other inserters. And so we just need a few on hand, I think. 10 is probably enough. We'll have to see. This will be 20. We should probably stop, I don't know, 45, something like that. Sure. Okay, good. Now we're to some of our terminal stuff. So I think for this one, for the red inserters, we're going to say this is 21 or 22. And I don't know how many of these we need yet. So let's just say we're just going to leave it at 0 for now. So we've got a placeholder there. And similarly, we're going to do the combinators. So arithmetic is 23, so we want this to be 23 or 24. And then again, I'm just gonna put that placeholder in here. And then we need the deciders. So that is going to be when the signal is 25 or 26. And again, placeholder, this guy. Okay. And then constant ones. Greater than or equal to 27, less than or equal to 28. And this will be where we figure out how many we need to have on hand. Then solar panels, same. Wow, we're actually almost done here. Okay, so the solar panels will be 29 or 30. And these will be solar panels. Where are they? Here they are. Okay, good. Then we need the space platform. Okay, and that's going to be 31 or 32. Okay, good. And then this is going to be the space platform. Okay, good. And we'll set that up later. And we'll do the green signal last. Okay, good. So that's all of our demand stuff. So that is good. Okay. Next, what we want to do is we need two combinators here. So we should have an arithmetic combinator, which we do. So I'm going to put that one here. Force paste. And then we have a selector combinator as well, right? Yes. So then we will force paste. Okay, good. Then we need one more constant combinator. Okay, good. That goes there. All right, we had one. We did have one. Okay, good. Great. So Now, here's how we're going to manage. Oh, and let's see. I guess I need a green wire there to set recipe. We're setting filters there. That's fine. Okay, good. Let's see. And this one is set for... I don't think that's what we want. Now I think we want to just chuck extra iron ore because I think that's the thing that we're gonna potentially have too much of. Let's just say if I have more than 200 iron ore, I should chuck it. Oh, and I should filter this so I'm only chucking iron ore for right now. Okay, good. All right, now what we want to do is set priorities on our recipes. So the idea is that the lower priority recipe, or let's see, the lower the number, the higher the priority. That seems backwards, but I think it's easier to deal with because most of the stuff that we need to build first, we're going to put in there first, and so it'll be easier to just have lower numbers. Okay, so that means that, and this is just things we can make in assembly machines. So I believe for right now, we can just put in the numbers of the things we're looking for here. Okay. 7, 8, and 9. Then what else do we have? Space platform, is that the last thing that we have up here? This guy. And no, solar panels and space platform. Okay, so sure, solar panels and here and space platform. Okay, very good. Okay, so now how is this going to work? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to feed in. Now remember, any output here is indicates something we need. And so then I'm going to take the red wire here with the priorities, and I'm going to say, we're going to say each red times each green, output each. And so, so this does two things. One is if there's no signal on the green wire, which there currently is not because there's no power, then we won't send it through because we don't need to make it. And then otherwise, we just multiply it by the priority. Now, the outputs here are always 1, right? So the output is always 1 when we output something. So, so that means that it's what we get are, this essentially just filters this list to the things that we actually need, is what that does. Then from here, we are going to, is this where I want to put this stuff? Because I also need one more. I may end up moving this stuff later, but that's okay. So then what we're going to select the input, and I'm going to sort ascending. So this will pick the thing with the lowest priority, which is the thing that we most need to do. And I put ammo here first. We're not producing ammo because we're not flying around, but that will be the thing that is going to be the highest priority. And then from here, do we still have a decider? We do still have a decider. So I can get one of those, and I guess I'll just stick this here for now. Okay, so we are going to make, we're going to have a loop back, and we're going to have the green wire come in. And this is going to be a recipe latch. And so the idea is that I want to remember the recipe. And then I think from here we go green to here. And then we'll also need red to here. Okay, so this is going to be... okay, so the trick here is, and one of the things that we kind of ran into previously is that it's possible that I only just have enough stuff in here for one recipe. But if I start loading, a set recipe and we start loading the assembler, it's possible that whatever I'm loading could drop below the low water mark, whereupon that would suddenly be the selected recipe, and then it would reset the recipe, and then it would unload everything, and you just sort of thrash. So that's no good. So I think the idea is that we only want to set the recipe. We only want, let's see, how do I want to say this? We want to keep the recipe the same until either, generally until we've finished making something. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the recipe finish, and we're going to say, give us a check mark when you're done making something. So that's good. We're going to also set recipe. So that's also good. And I generally like to, if I have to read and write from the assembler, which in this case I'm reading the finish signal, but I'm setting the recipe. I do those on two separate wires so they don't bleed into each other, which is useful for keeping the signals separate. Okay, so now, how is this thing going to work? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a lock signal. Where's my little lock? I'm going to say lock. I'm going to make this be a -1, so that when I have a recipe locked, I'm going to be sending the lock signal around. Okay, so what is that going to look like? That is going to look like I have something on the green wire that is greater than 0. And by the way, this is we're going to, is it the input count? I think I need the input count as well. Yes, because I need this thing to count down. Okay, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, so if I have a recipe and there is nothing on the loopback, so we are not currently locked. Where's my lock? This guy. Then we should go ahead and pass the each through, right? Which in this case is going to be, doesn't really matter. It's some priority greater than 0 is what's going to come through on the recipe. And because this is true, we will also send the lock signal around. For whatever recipe we currently have set, so if there's something positive on the red loopback wire, which would have been sort of whatever recipe came in, because the recipes are going to be positive, but the lock is going to be negative. Let's see, so that's greater than 0, and the lock icon is less than 0, then we also want to pass that through. So basically, the idea is if there's no lock, I can accept a new recipe coming in on the green wire. Otherwise, I'm just propagating whatever recipe is currently set on the red wire. Okay, now, there's a couple of exceptions, and we want that to continue until the recipe finishes, right? So the other thing that we want to check on the red wire is that I should not propagate the recipe if I see the finished signal. And in fact, that should also be true up here. Okay. So this will basically just say, this is going to just keep, it will admit a new recipe because as soon as we see the finished signal done, this will not be true. This will not be true, and so nothing will come on the output. And so all of the red signals will be 0 on the next tick, which means that we can accept a new recipe here. Okay? And then I think the last thing that we need, let's see, we also need to say for anything that is less than 0, which in this case is the lock, I should also pass that through. So the lock is going to just count. It's going to keep becoming more and more negative. And we should also pass that through. We'll get an extra one from here. So that's how it will continue decrementing, I guess. But again, if we finish something, we don't want to do that. And then the last thing, just as a fail-safe, what I want to do is I want to say, if we go 30 seconds, and we haven't seen a done signal, we should consider allowing a new recipe to come in. Now, I think it's actually okay. I mean, we may tweak that number as we go along here, but the key thing is the recipe in the assembler won't get reset if it starts crafting. So the real question is, assuming I had all the ingredients, what is the longest it might take to load all of the ingredients? And so we'll give it like a 30-second timeout. So let's see, I need my handy dandy calculator here off to the side. So if we do 30 seconds and there are 60 ticks per second, that's 1,800 ticks. So then we have one more condition for each of these, which is that okay, it's actually that the lock is less than 0 and the lock is greater than negative 1,800. And then same here as well. So anything less than 0 and the lock is greater than negative 1,800. So after 30 seconds, we're going to allow potentially a new recipe in. So that's how that will work. Okay. And so that's our recipe latch for this guy. Good stuff. What things do I have here? I do, and so then the last thing I think we need are, we need two more things here. We need to set the filters on this thing to say what things should you be smelting. And so for this, there's really just you should either be sticking in one of these things. We should be looking, and so those come in as the control. We should be looking at the demand. And so here, what we can say is, okay, if is that what we want? I don't think I want that. Let's just do it this way. Well, I guess we could do it like this. And then we could say if it's equal to the red 1, that'll be good. We'll pass this through as an each. Okay, so So when do we want to put iron ore in? Well, that should just be if we see that there is a demand for iron plates. That's it. And then for the, when should we put copper ore in? I'm going to say, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So that's 2 on the red. And so this should be that I need copper plates. And I want to prioritize iron plates because eventually if we need ammo, we need to be able to prioritize making smelting iron plates. And so that means I should only be trying to smelt copper plates if I don't need iron plates. Okay, and then finally, we also have if the red one is equal to the red iron plates, that's 3. And we need steel. And we don't need iron plates. Okay, then we pass those through. That tells us what should be here on the filter. So we should say we're going to set filters. Good. And then the last thing that we need is we need one more decider here. And so we have to, we're going to read a couple things. We're going to read the contents. We don't need to look at what's being crafted. And then we need to read if the recipe is finished. Okay. And so the trick is that we need to keep putting iron plates in if we're in the middle of a steel recipe. That is the general idea here. So this is going to come here. And so the output is going to be iron plates. And so when do we want to do this? So we want to, we only want to put iron plates in if there are fewer than 5. And I would say there's at least 1, but what we actually want to do is to say that there are more than the done signal. So if we're in the middle of trying to craft, this will be 0. So if we have at least 1 in here, then we must be in the middle of trying to make steel, and so we should definitely put more iron plates in. And by the way, we should probably override the stack size to be 1. Okay, and then and so the trick is that if we're in the middle of making iron plates, the ingredients will be iron ore, but for 1 tick, when it finishes, there will be an iron plate sitting in there for the output until the output inserter gets rid of it. And so, but the check signal will also be true. So, so they'll both be 1 at that point, and so that will prevent us from trying to put iron plates in as inputs if we're trying to get iron plates out as outputs. So that should keep us from getting unstuck here. Okay, are we good? We might actually be, I think this is what we want. I think. Okay, so then we need to get, I hope I still have 9. I do have 9. I do have at least 9 space platform in here, which is good, because that means I can put this guy in and power this back up. So let's see if this is going to work right. All right. Okay, so what is this? This is, yes, successfully putting iron plates out, so that's okay. Or iron gears. And so this should, which is the lowest priority thing that we're missing, right? Yep, because we only have 28 of them. Okay, that's good. Do we have lots of? We have lots of plates. Okay, good. So we should be able to watch this go for a little bit. Seems like yes. Are we trying to grab? Yes, because we don't have any copper ore. Okay, that's okay. All right, this is looking good. Okay, well, as we can see, we are severely constrained by power here, especially if we're in the middle of crushing stuff. So really the thing that we need to make is we need to have 9 platform. I think this is almost the blueprint we want. But the next thing we really just need to make platforms, and now which creates an interesting question, because it's going to take a while to make 9 space platform and 1 solar panel, which is okay, but I think we need to actually have a series of blueprints which don't actually add much. I think this phase is getting this stuff put together. And then the whole point of it is that I want this to make at least 9 space platform and at least 1 solar panel. And so then I think that means for our green signal, we can say, okay, green signal is 33 or 34. And that will be true if we have our 9 space platform and we have our 1 solar panel. Because I think now, at this point, the nice thing is that I think we can make, let's see, I need this to be greater than or equal to 1. We can make, I think at this point, by just adding recipes and adjusting priorities of stuff, right? So we can say how much do we want of something and what priority does it have. I think we now can automatically make anything that can be made from metallic asteroids, which is pretty cool. The problem is how slow we're making it. And so we need to now focus on the current bottlenecks, which in this case is power is the main bottleneck, which we can see here, right? These are not even working top speed here. So that's why I think this next blueprint will be making those 2 things. We do want to get this stuff here. So we want to say, if I can see the green signal, turn the sound down, global, polyphony, say this is done. We're going to call this phase 2 complete. Okay, and then we're also going to send it to the light. We're going to say you're enabled if the green is greater than 0 and use colors. So our green light should also come on when we're done. Okay. I think we're going to go off camera now because this is just going to take a bit. But hopefully when we land, we should see that we have stopped. We've got sort of 1 stack of all of our intermediate things to the degree that we wanted to make them. And we have as well. Our 9 space platform and 1 solar panel. So we will be back. Okay, we are back, and we've hit our first little snag here, which is because we're so low powered and only have 1 inserter here. We can see that our lock counter there is counting downwards towards 1800, and it actually gets to 1800 before we can finish loading all the ingredients. So we're going to have to adjust our timer here to be something else. This is really just a fail-safe timer anyway, just in case it gets stuck for some reason, and we do need to preempt it if it hasn't started. So we'll see. We just need it long enough that it can start, and that was enough to do it. So let's see. We managed to make some inserters, gears, green circuits, copper cables. That's all been switching fine. The smelting has been switching between iron and copper as needed, and things are moving along. So we'll check back in. Hopefully at this point we're going to have to see when we start trying to make space platform if... well, and I guess this is almost done. So that's enough. There, that should... Right, so now we want it to be making space platform. So this has to finish doing what it's doing. And then it should switch recipe. We should see it reset at the 3600. Which will be fine. Yeah, it resets space platform. So this just needs to finish the recipe, then... all the ingredients from the solar panel become trash and we have to unload it, but hopefully let's just see if the timing is enough that we can actually get a space platform recipe started here. I think it will be okay, because that's just going to be the same recipe, although we may need to add one more clause here. I think this is resetting because it gets to the negative 30. Oh, well, because we need copper cable. Well, that's okay. Okay, so now that's resetting because we're finishing recipes, which is good. Okay. We have to see. I think we need one more clause here, which is specifically that if we have a recipe that is greater than 0 and the same recipe is still being asked for on the green wire, and we just finished something, then it's okay to keep the same recipe. Is 1. But we do want to reset the timer, so that's okay. So that lets us get across the tick if we're keeping the same recipe in here without resetting the recipe. So, all right, we're back to smelting iron. This is saying yes, that's fine because we don't have less than 5, so that's fine because we're making steel. Okay, so right, it's only when we stop trying to make steel that we might need to add some more of these in as sort of like finish out the current recipe to get it the furnace empty. All right, well, I guess we're back to waiting, so I'll be back either when it's done or when we've got another problem. All right, we're clipping along, and I realize there's one more scenario where we want to preserve the recipe, which I'm now seeing as we try to make space platform. which is that if we have a recipe set on the red wire, and that same signal is also on the green wire, and the lock hits the timeout. Is that what we want? I think it's exactly the timeout. Then we should preserve the recipe. Oh, it should be negative 3600. Okay, and that should preserve our recipe here, because it's okay to keep it. We'll reset the timer, I think, is what we should see, but we should continue seeing the space platform without interruption. Which didn't happen. Something about this didn't quite work. So we've got something greater than 0, that's the space platform, and it's greater than 0 on the green wire. And the red wire is exactly equal to negative 3600. And we should propagate the signal. I think this should mean this should nah, it had a little blip in there. So something about this is not quite right. I wonder if this is... What if we make this less than or equal to? Kind of want to see... Right, because this should be okay, right? Like... Oh, I think that worked. Okay, good. Good. Now this will stay here until we finish, which we actually only need one more space platform. We see the smelting has been able to switch back and forth to steel, which is cool. And I think that's the thing we're waiting on, right? Steel? Yeah. Okay, good. And it's staying there even despite the timeout, right? We should be able to see this hit the negative 3600 and keep the recipe, which it did do. Okay, good. All right, good. So, great. This is basically almost done as soon as we get enough steel in here, which we're about to do. And this has taken basically almost an hour to get to this point. It was working, like we got there. Big part of it is like we had to build up some stashes of intermediate products here, but this is the 9th space platform, and so we should get a green light here in a minute. It does strike me that we may as well make like space platform until we have like 500 of it. We'll still turn on the green light to say we're ready for the next thing once we've got at least the 9 that we're looking for. But this way, if we forget to check it, at least we can be doing something productive, like making space platform, which is always going to be the bottleneck, I think, for building stuff. So this should hopefully be the 9th space platform, and then we should get a green light, I hope. And green light. And do we get an alarm? We did not get an alarm. Why do we not? Why no alarm? Phase 2 complete. Is this not? Oh, maybe because I need to be looking at this and then I would see it. No. Belter class phase 1. Why is this not? It says the green is greater than 0, so that's true. Phase 2 complete. What did we not do right here? What is the difference with this one? Oh, I didn't do global. I bet that's what I did. No, I did that. What is the difference? Why is this one alarming, but the other one is not? You can probably see it. But that all looks right. Phase 2 complete. Volume, circuit connection. Maybe because it's got low power? Maybe it's got low power. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. Doesn't seem right, right? Right, this should be like doing it. Global, polyphony, show alert, phase 2 complete. Maybe just because it's low power. What? Let's see if let's make this thing stop. Okay, so let's just say 9. And then that should like stop making stuff, right? At some point. And low power. Maybe that's why, because it's got low power, right? Is the difference here that this one has enough power? This one has enough power. Maybe alarm doesn't go off if it doesn't have power. That's super interesting. Okay, well in that case, then we don't want to let it run if that is the hypothesis here. The green light came on, that's good. And so what are we waiting on here? What are the things that we think we still need? Okay, iron plates and steel. Steel got down to 10. All right, so it's gonna be, all right, I'm gonna let this run until it thinks it's got enough steel, and hopefully it will stop and we'll see the alarm come on. So let's see if that's the case. All right. Okay, we are back and we finished smelting, which means we actually no longer want anything. Which is cool. And sure enough, once we have enough power, then our alarm that phase 2 is complete did in fact finish. So, all right, so that took a while, but I think because we're so bottlenecked on power, it is going to make sense to focus on just fixing the bottlenecks and scaling things up here as we go. Fortunately, we don't have to do a ton of circuit network stuff, too much. Like this is kind of where we're going to have for a while. So that means from here we can just, I think, scale things up, but I think that means we're ready for this. To be, oh wait, how was I naming these again? It's like, how was I naming these? Belter class phase 1. So this will be Belter class phase 2. Belter class phase 2. This is what we have. A Belter ship. And we want 02, right? Okay, create blueprint. We're going to stick it there. Okay, cool. That means this one is going to become phase 3 dev for next time. It means we can take this one and we can apply the phase 2 blueprint to it. Force paste. And we should see this all come in, hopefully. Indeed, so that's good, which means this becomes phase 2, which means we can go to this guy and we can make this be a phase 1 guy. And we can launch a new phase 0 so that we can just, what was I calling these? Belter class phase 0, right, duh. Belter class phase 0. So we'll launch that up, we'll get that going, and then I guess next time we're going to proceed with scaling things up. We have produced the space platform and solar panel that we need next, and so I think next episode we're going to just be able to stamp down several blueprints that just sort of scale this whole thing up. So that'll be pretty exciting because it'll be nice to have one of these phases that lasts, less than an hour. Again, I think that's okay. Part of that is this is the design choice that we're making here, which is okay. All right, so we need this, and we need to send it one of these guys, right? Deliver cargo to you. But it'll be nice to be able to start speeding things up and get going. Now, if my calculations are right, first bottleneck is going to be power. Next one is going to be smelting. And then actually, I think before we get too far on just adding furnaces, we're going to start getting bottlenecked on how fast metallic asteroid chunks are just showing up in orbit. And at that point, we need to start flying. So, we got a path ahead of us, but we're going to stick with it. So that's what we have for today. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.